Hey guys, we are back with some more LA Kings franchise mode, and in this one, there are a couple of trades that I want to make because I was, in the last one, talking about trading the likes of Dursey and Grunstrom, because Grunstrom really hasn't been doing much this year. Only one goal. He's got Adrian Kempe 2.0 written all over him, and he really doesn't fit into the chemistry of our team too well. So I think he's going to be walking. Well, I'll get into chemistry later. That's another thing I want to address. Sean Dursey as well. He's just not impressing me. He's on the first defensive pair with Drew Doughty. He's 24 years of age. As an offensive defenseman, that offensive awareness is only at 81. His puck skills aren't even that great either. I think we can afford to move on from him. I'm putting Mikey Anderson on here as well because he hasn't really gotten the chance to play. I mean, he got the chance last year. He did play last year, but now he's been relegated to the seventh defenseman, so that's, in my opinion, that's not really how I want to treat my younger players. I'd rather them just play somewhere else. Either play them in the AHL, or play them in the NHL, or just trade them. You know, don't not play them. And I do want to make those trades, but before that, the most important thing I think we need to do is fire our coach, because I really was not impressed. What was really off-putting for me with this guy was that massive, and I mean massive, losing streak that we went on in, I believe it was December? Yeah, where we only won one game that month against the Vegas Golden Knights. Just every other game that month was a loss, and our record at the time was actually very good. We were in a really good spot. We were first in the division, and now we're outside of a playoff spot. This month right here was really not great at all. And then, I mean, this past month was okay. It wasn't, anything that was going to save his job. And not to mention the lack of chemistry that we have. I mean, we can't even find chemistry for offensive and defensive defensemen. And when you can't even do that, there's a problem with the chemistry. Because Jordan Spence here, offensive defenseman, 86 offensive awareness. He's got 16 points on the season. That's respectable for a rookie who's only 21 years of age. He has a solid defensive defenseman playing with him, and Josh Manson actually has more points than Spence, but they only have a +1 chemistry. And then same thing for, I think, Hjalmarsson. Hjalmarsson actually gets a 0 with Spence. So, yeah, that's not ideal. And if we tried Dursey there, only a +1. If we tried Dursey with Hjalmarsson, 0. We can't find any chemistry on the back end. And even at forward, the chemistry, lack of chemistry, I should say, is apparent, because we have a 0 on the first line, +3 on the second line. That's probably the best line that we've had so far this season. Actually, not probably, definitely the best line that we had this season. Byfield, he is having a heck of a year. 41 points so far in 51 games. On pace to smash his point total from last season at 45 in 82 games. Turcotte with, I believe that is, 47. He's close to a point per game. Olofsson, 48, leads our team. So that second line has really impressed me, but not much else about this team has impressed me. As we take a look at the third line, Keith Ho is actually the bright spot on that third line, as Kupari only has 10 points, Grunstrom only with 14, but 1 goal. So we need to get some better players to help out with Ho, and that's where those trades with Grunstrom are going to come in. And then the fourth line is what it is for the time being. I mean, I would like a better fourth line for sure, but it's not necessarily something I'm focused on at the moment. I will upgrade if given the chance, of course. Lucic, no one's going to take him, and that $5.2 million, it's only for 1 more year anyway. Brown, he's been here his whole career, so he may as well stay on the fourth line there. He's an 81 overall anyway. He's been helpful. And Anderson Dolan, he's not the ideal fourth liner. I may want to move on from him at some point. He's only got 13 points. I mean, that's okay for a fourth liner. You don't expect too many points out of them. But he's not even winning faceoffs. He's not really being too physical. Takeaway, giveaway ratio is okay, but not anything fantastic. So he's just there. He's there because he's a young body, but not an optimal fourth line center for sure, in my opinion. And not to mention power play chemistry. We can't even find too much chemistry here. We have a +3 on the first line. That's great, but 0 on the second line. Penalty kill is actually the one area where we do have chemistry, and a +5 here with Velarde, Ho, Manson, and Clegg on the first line penalty kill. And I'm not sure if that's going to hold when we fire our coach and get a new one, but I know for a fact that we cannot have another losing streak like we did in December. And I'm not going to wait around and let it happen again. This guy, Mason Nueve, however your name is pronounced, you are out of here. So, honestly, the man who we should have made the coach in the first place, this guy, Witherspoon, he's been with us, I believe, since year one. He has better grades in almost every category than our previous coach did. So I don't know why I didn't just promote this guy to head coach in the first place, but that is what we are about to do now. I'm going to make him interim NHL head coach just for the time being, just because I want to leave our options open. But he is presumably our new head coach, so we will have to get a new associate coach. That might actually end up being Ivany, though I think I want a generalist in here, because you got a forwards, you got defensemen, you got goalies. Yeah, I want a generalist for our next coach. It's just a matter of would I prefer Ivany as the assistant coach or the associate. There's this guy, Soreau. And what I'm really concerned about is the teaching and coach influence. So, and he's got an A for teaching and an A- for coach influence. So, yeah, we'll hire Soreau. Now, let's take a look at our chemistry under our new interim head coach. So, we have a +1 on the first line. Now, Ehlers matches the first line in chemistry perfectly. What about Kopitar? All right, that's not terrible. Velarde, okay. He definitely fits best in the first line, so we're seeing some progress there. What about Ho? That's who I'm really concerned about. Ugh. Man, we just can't find any chemistry with this guy, can we? Grundstrom, he fits best in the first line, but I wouldn't play him on the first line for sure. Kupari, same thing. He's effectively the same player, chemistry-wise, as Grundstrom. Anderson Dolan fits this guy's chemistry even less, so he might be moved out soon. Brown fits perfectly on his fourth line, so yeah, we're definitely keeping Brown. What about defense? Okay, that's a little better. That is a little bit better. So you got a +3 with Doughty and Dursey. What about Spence on that first line? I might put Spence on the first line since he's shown more promise offensively than Dursey has. And then Manson, he would fit nicely on the third pair. Hjalmarsson would fit perfectly on that second pair. There you go. There's a +5. Okay, yeah. We'll keep Hjalmarsson and Spence together on that second pair. I might put, if we're trading Dursey, I might put Manson with Doughty for the time being. So seeing how Mikey Anderson fits in here, he fits in perfectly on the third line. That would get a +3 with Clegg. So I think I actually might take Anderson off the trade block just because he gets that +3 with Clegg there. And then that 0 on the first line, it is what it is for the time being. We'll just roll with our best players for the slight chance that we may reach the playoffs. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll roll with Manson and Doughty, Hjalmarsson and Spence, and then Clegg and Anderson. We'll be trading Dursey, no doubt. Now, what about the chemistry for these three? Byfield has a really good chemistry for the second line. I guess he'll stay there. Turcotte, good chemistry on the top six. Good. All right, so everyone is roughly where they should be on that second line. So I'm liking the chemistry there. They maintain that +3, so that's all I can really ask. I'll keep them three together because they have been absolutely killing it this season. I mean, these six are undoubtedly our best offensive players, so I'm not inclined to touch anything there. It's been working for the most part. It's just that we don't have any depth scoring, really, and our defense production was, besides Doughty, pretty abysmal. So that's really what I was looking for out of that coaching change. And also, of course, the goal of not going on an insane losing streak again. And I was scouting around the NHL to look for possible forward replacements for Grundstrom. No one really jumps out at me. At least that's on the trade market, and that wouldn't cost us our future. So I think we're going to just end up trading Grundstrom and Dursey for picks. And who I was looking at, former LA King Jeff Carter is in free agency as an 82 overall, 38 years of age, so he's going to retire soon. We may as well bring him back. And then Eric Halla, dirt cheap at $750,000 for 1 year. It certainly can't hurt to bring him on board, see if he meshes in with Keith Ho on that third line. Same thing for Jeff Carter. So I believe that these two would make fine additions for this year. But presuming they do sign, that would allow us to trade the likes of Dursey and Grundstrom. So Carter, he wants 2.4 for 1 year. I'll give you 2.5. There you go. And Eric Halla, I'll give you $1 million. And there's Carter. He is back with your LA Kings, as is Eric Halla. He is with the LA Kings now as well. So with that all being done, we're now going to find a trade for Grundstrom and Dursey. And we're going to see what kind of things we can get for them. So we do have an offer from Anaheim. We have a lot of offers actually, but Anaheim's offer consists of a second, Kubalik and Carrick. No, I wouldn't say so. We're getting 2 forwards anyway in Carter and Haula, so I wouldn't say we'll take that trade. It's to a rival as well, so no to that. Shattenkirk and Carrick, no. 2 seconds from Buffalo. That certainly looks good. Phil Kessel from Minnesota, a third and a sixth. And he would certainly help out with Keith Ho. I'm open to it. I'm certainly open to it. It's only for 1 year as well. St. Louis is also offering 2 seconds, but that's to the west. I'd rather trade to the east, and Buffalo is in the east. So I think I still prefer Buffalo. There's Washington as well with 2 seconds. So I think it's between Buffalo's offer with 2 seconds, Minnesota's offer with Kessel. I certainly wouldn't be opposed to getting Kessel because, again, that would really, I think, help Keith Ho. So it's either Washington, Buffalo, or Minnesota. How's Kessel looking? Pretty good. He's definitely getting first line ice time there. If Minnesota is willing to give up a second, no, they are not. I was going to say if they were willing to give up the second, then I would definitely take this offer, but I don't think they would. Especially not for players like Gronstrom and Dursey. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Keith Ho is more of a shooter, because if we take a look at his... Where is he? If we take a look at his tendencies, or his history in general, he's more of a goal scorer. As we see back in Liga, he had 10 goals and 8 assists. In the AHL, he had 36 goals and 22 assists. And this year, in his first full year so far in the NHL, 10 goals and 9 assists. So I think Phil Kessel would honestly make a really good addition for that third line, because he has 31 assists on the year. He looks to be sort of a hybrid of a shooter and a passer. But if he can produce at even half the rate of what he's been doing in Minnesota so far, it would definitely be worth it for Keith Ho. And that is the main goal of this season, is to get Keith Ho growing. And it does give us a bit of flexibility. It allows us to potentially move Anderson Dolan like I wanted to, and his value's still kind of up there. Yeah, I am talking myself into it here, because we do have Haula and Carter now as well. Yeah, I think I want to do this. Yep, I'm definitely doing it. So Dursey and Gronstrom for Kessel, a third and a sixth. Proposed trade accepted. So I know it does seem odd that we are acquiring some veterans here and there, but it's all in the name of growing our younger players so that they become star players themselves. So Carter and Haula come on up to the NHL. Oh, right, we have 3 goalies. So I think... I'm sorry, Quick, but it looks like I might have to send you down here, bud. Can't send anyone down on defense. We only have 6 defensemen. You know what? I'll send down Lucic. I don't care if he gets claimed. Yeah, I didn't expect Lucic to get claimed. Who are we kidding? He's making over $5 million as a 75 overall. He wasn't getting claimed. But that being said, I think we do need a 7th defenseman here just in case we get an injury. So I think we'll end up trading for one. I think it'll be a part of the Anderson Dolan trade if I could get a really affordable 7th defenseman as part of that trade, without it being the main piece of the trade. That'd be really nice. So new lines, nothing about the top 6 changed, but we have Kessel, Haula, and Ho on the third line now, and Carter, Kupari, and Brown on the fourth. I dropped Kupari down because I'm really not impressed with him this year. He was okay last year. He had 34 points. He was respectable even, because he was only getting 11:46 of ice time, so I thought maybe he has a future offensively, but it's not looking like that so far this season. Maybe he's just in a sophomore slump, but I'm not willing to sacrifice the development of someone like Keith Ho in order to keep Kupari going. Kupari certainly is not helping out the situation with Keith Ho, and I want to make sure that Ho is getting as much help as he can get, so that we can develop him into an offensive threat, and that certainly was not happening with Kupari on his line. Okay, good. So we actually maintain that +5 line chemistry on the penalty kill. And as well as the power play, we got an additional +1 there. So yeah, this coaching change so far looks to be pretty good. But we'll see what the simulation has to say about that. Markkanen's gotten really, really unlucky. He's played 17 games, only won 6 of them with a .917 save percentage. He's just gotten really unlucky. I think we keep rolling with Markkanen here, because he's been getting the saves, just not the wins. And it's not like Shesterkin's been winning too much either, so may as well give the ball to Markkanen. So let's find a team that wants Anderson Dolan here. So a potentially interesting trade here would be Adam Fox from New York. He hasn't played at all this year. He's not even signed. And I know we won't be able to play him this year, but if we could also get a draft pick out of this, and then potentially another defenseman to just fill in for this year, then that might be some good value. Or even just Fox and then a 7th defenseman. I wouldn't even mind not having the draft pick if we could get Fox on board. Of course, we would still have to sign him next year, but, we would at least have his rights. What's he done in the past? 26, 25. He's not much of a hitter. Never mind. I would rather take the draft pick. But they do have Goligoski. He's played 50 games, minus 15. I mean, he'd be a decent fill-in for this year. No doubt about that. They also have Stone, who hasn't really played too many games. Okay, what I want, I'll take a 3rd and a 4th. I'll take a 3rd for next year, a 4th for this year. And instead of Stone, I'll take Goligoski. His offensive awareness is actually 86, so he could be a really good replacement defenseman if needed. And his contract's only 1 year, so yeah, I like this. Because I'm fairly certain that after the year Anderson Dolan has had, I don't think his value would go up too much after this year. If anything, it would only decline. So I think this is fair value for Anderson Dolan. A 3rd, a 4th, and Goligoski. And there it is. Trade has been done. Anderson Dolan is now a member of the New York Rangers, and we now have Goligoski and a 3rd and a 4th. We get the replacement defenseman that we need, and we also get a couple of draft picks in exchange for a younger player who wasn't really performing well, so I think it works out for everyone. And actually, let's just check out Goligoski's chemistry. Not much in the way of chemistry, so I think we'll leave him benched for right now, but definitely a decent option to go to if we need him to get in there for a couple of games. And there is our new associate coach, Soro. Welcome to the team. So now that all that being done, I think we could finally simulate, I guess we'll go to the trade deadline and see what happens. So we're at the trade deadline now. We are in a massive, massive battle for the wild card spots in the West. They're currently controlled by the Central Division, by the Jets and the Predators, but there is not much separation at all between us, the Canucks, the Golden Knights, the Jets, the Predators, and even the Wild are kind of still in this. Definitely going to be a battle for the playoffs if we're making them. I don't know if we'll make a divisional spot, because that seems to belong to the Sharks and the Oilers at the very least, and the Flames, given their record, look pretty good as well, and look like they could probably hold on to it. So let's review how our team has been doing prior to the trade deadline. So Markkanen, he's maintained a solid save percentage of 914, just hasn't been getting the wins. Unfortunate, really. Shesterkin has not played much recently because he's down to 898, and Markkanen's been doing just fine. So if Markkanen grows, then all the power to him. He is certainly running with the ball right now. He's just not getting wins support at all. First line, Velarde with 39 points, I believe that is. So he looks to have slowed down a little bit. Kopitar, yeah, that first line is slowing down for whatever reason. Maybe it was the coaching change. I don't know what it was, but that definitely is not the best first line you ever seen. As far as the second line goes, Byfield with 48 points now. So I believe that is, 7 from the past month. And Turcotte, he is doing very well as well. Olofsson, leading our team, I believe, 59 points. Second line keeps going. As for the third line is what I'm really concerned about. 4 points for Kessel in 10 games. Haula with 1 point. Wow, that's unfortunate. Keith Ho, 24 points. He was at 19 before, so 5 points in that month. It's not bad. Carter, what do you do? 3 points. Kupari with 6 and 7, so 3 points in that month. And Dustin Brown, 6 and 5. It's going to be close. I don't feel like there's much we can do about it either. It's just the way this team is right now. Spence with 20 points. Anderson with 1 assist. I don't know if he had that before. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough run to the finish, for sure. Checking out the team stats now to see where we're at. We're not scoring too much compared to the rest of the division. 2.82. We're getting scored on quite often. 3.06 goals against per game. Power play is actually in the top half of the division, 17.6, and the penalty kill, not terrible, 82.8. So I don't think there's too much we can do right now. And you know what? This was a year where if we don't make the playoffs, so be it. Because honestly, we could use a couple more elite prospects in there as well. So I wouldn't mind missing the playoffs if it meant getting a really good pick out of it. Of course, that's not guaranteed, but, we do need, I think, a couple more offensive pieces in there because a lot of our offensive prospects haven't really panned out. I mean, I still have a lot of hope for Keith Ho. He's only 19. But we don't have too many snipers in there. We have Byfield, who's a nice power forward. You have Turcotte, nice playmaker. Ho, the two-way forward, who looks like he could potentially be a sniper, but he still needs to work on his offensive awareness there. And he doesn't really have much of a fit chemistry-wise with our current coach anyway. So I think we could use a nice sniper out of this draft if we could get one. Because I feel like that's what we're really missing at the moment as far as prospects go. I mean, we do have Arthur Kaliev in the AHL who's been growing, but I'm just not sure how or where he's going to cap off at. He's at a 77 overall right now. I think he started as a 76, so he's grown a little bit. He's definitely having his best AHL season by far. Yeah, by far his best AHL season right now. But I just don't know where he's going to cap off in the NHL. He might end up being 82, 83 by the time he's done growing. I really want that elite sniper if we can get it. As for the trade deadline, I don't think there's anything that I could really do because we already made all the trades that I wanted to make previously before this month started. So are there any assets that we could trade? Maybe Kupari, but he's only 22. I feel like given the chance, maybe he could have a bounce back season. Yeah, there's no one here who I'm really looking to trade at the moment. Draft pick wise, if we make any trades for draft picks, it'll be at the draft. Yeah, I think we're good to go to move past the trade. I mean, maybe it's just Sturkin. He hasn't really played well. Then again, he's only his first year with us. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and see if he has a better year next year. So I'm not going to pull the trigger on a just Sturkin trade right away. Because if he plays to his potential, then he could be a really good goalie. But he's just not right now. Markkanen is, without a doubt, the better statistical goaltender at the moment. Yeah, I'm not looking to do anything of this trade deadline. We will just simply move past it. Again, if we don't make the playoffs, no big deal. We still do kind of need an elite sniper, and I would like to get one if possible. Wow, so Detroit trades Dylan Larkin to Ottawa in exchange for Dargachidsev and a first. And it looks like that was the only big trade that happened at the trade deadline. So I will see you guys at the end of the regular season. And hopefully we can make the playoffs. Unfortunately, Phil Kessel's been injured with a bruised hand. That is not a good start to the post-trade deadline day. So good news. During that time span, Keith Ho is now up to an 83 overall. But unfortunately, Kopitar continues his drop. He is now at an 85 overall. Not looking too good for next year. He might be eventually relegated to the third line at some point next year because the way he's dropping now, it certainly is looking like he is not going to be any higher than, I'd say, an 83 for the start of next season. Okay, so with 2 games left, we do occupy a wild card spot. However, the Golden Knights, the Flames are all within striking range of that spot as well, as are the Predators. So we cannot rest until we have this thing locked up. Hoping for the best here. We are facing off against Anaheim and Vegas. Anaheim is not in the running. Vegas is. Vegas will be a huge game. So we are at the game against Anaheim now, and we're now down to the second wildcard spot. It looks like the Vegas Golden Knights just won their previous game, and the Flames were pushed out. So, yeah, this really is a huge game against Vegas, as well as Anaheim. If we don't win either of these, then we're definitely not in. But if we want the best chance, then we absolutely have to win both. Come on, boys. Ooh, rough first period. Velarde scored before I could even press X, but Heinen, Pajot, and Gulli on Markkanen, not looking good so far. Shots are 12 apiece, second period. Okay, there you go. Dustin Brown, the veteran, coming through in the clutch. Shots are 20-19 in favor of Anaheim. We're only down by 1. Third period time. And Chalmerson with the goal. Okay. We are tied. But Evander Kane with a power play goal makes it 4-3. Kopitar with a response. Okay. Oh, this is quite the game. And it looks like we need overtime. Shots are 28-27. Scores 4-4. Who will win it? And it will be our LA Kings' Drew Doughty on John Gibson. Simulating to the game against Vegas, we now occupy that first wildcard spot. If we can win this, it's looking pretty likely that we will indeed be in the playoffs. First period. Okay, beautiful start. But we saw how that game against Anaheim started. They were up 3-1 at first, and we won the game. Second period. Okay, 2 goals apiece. Carter with the goal, and Byfield with another goal. And then Stone and Waugh. Shots are 27-20 in favor of Vegas, but the score is 5-3 in favor of LA. Third period. Underway. Just need to hold on. There you go, Kopitar. There you go. He wants to make the playoffs this year for sure. Barbashev with the power play goal, though. I'm marking it. It's not over quite yet. Less than half the period to go. Cody Glass. Are we going to overtime? Do we need overtime, or do we hold on? We hold on the empty net goal by Jeff Carter. But wait a minute, Pacioretty, but too little too late. Jeff Carter, thank you for that empty net goal. That ended up being the game-winning goal as Pacioretty with 10 seconds left. I'm marking and gets a goal, but not quite enough. Pacioretty with a 4-point night, the first start of the game, and then Byfield with a 3-point night. Jeff Carter with the 2-goal game. A very close game, but it looks like we have indeed clinched the playoffs. And not only that, we are in a divisional spot. I believe I saw as well. Yeah, we are third. Officially third in the Pacific. I don't know if that'll hold, actually. Actually, it will. It will hold because the Canucks just played their last game. The Flames only have 89 points, so they can only have 91. Yeah, we're officially third in the Pacific Division. Not bad. Not bad at all. Especially after that slide that we had in December. That really was not fun. But we are officially in the playoffs. It looks like we're facing San Jose here. Now let's check out the player stats. Victor Olofsson had quite the year for us. Definitely better than expected. 42 goals, 42 assists for 84 points in his first year with LA. Definitely beyond expectations. Alex Turcotte, point per game. 82 points on the second line. That is beautiful. Kopitar, 69 points. Byfield with 63. Kessel with 54 in total. And how many on our team? 12 in 24. Okay. A point every other game. Not bad. Doughty with 52. Ehlers with 51. That's more or less what I expected out of him. So he did his job. Velarde with 48. Ho with 34 in his rookie season. Hopefully he can continue to grow in the playoffs. Spence with 33 points in his rookie year. More than what I expected out of him for sure, but now that he has that +5 chemistry with Hjalmarsson, I believe that definitely helped him. Manson with 24, Hjalmarsson with 18, Kupar with 17, Brown with 13, Carter with 13 in 30 games, Howlett with 11 in 30 games, Clegg with 8, Anderson with 7, Goligoski with 6, and then in goal, Markkanen with a 909, Shesterkin with an 898. He barely played once Markkanen got in there. And goals for per game, we are sitting second in our division with a 2.99. Goals against per game, we are sitting third last in the division with 3.04. Not ideal. Power play, we are sitting at a 19.7, third in the division. And the penalty kill, 83%, third in the division. Not bad. Last 10, we are 7-3. Overall, a pretty good year, but it definitely could have been better, especially with the start that we had. But I mean, you know what? We changed coaches in the middle of the season, so I'd say that alone is pretty impressive. The fact that we changed coaches, we went on an impressive losing streak, but we still managed to make third in our division. And we are indeed facing the San Jose Sharks in the first round of these playoffs. So let's take a look at their lines, and then we'll end things off. First line, Lehkonen, Hurdle, and Meyer. Second line, Chekovich, Couture, and LeBanc. Third line, Gambrel, Donato, and Rust. Fourth line, Dano. Oh god, I always struggle with this one. Khmelevsky and Blickfeld. Man, these names. On defense, you have Vlasic and Carlson, Ferraro and Hamonic, and then Broberg and Miller. And in goal, you have Ranta and Jones. Nothing I'm too scared of. I mean, besides maybe Carlson, but certainly nothing that we can't match up with. So that being said, I'll end it off here. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we face the San Jose Sharks in our first ever playoff run, I believe, of this GM mode. See you guys then.